Perfect filler for the hole. Just loads of bits of wood. Welcome to the third update of the camper build and the last campervan build video from last year. In this video we mainly build out the shower room so that it was usable for a summer trip in the van. We also do a few last little bits before the trip. I didn't do any more to the van after this video and have been using the van as a work van all winter to help do up our flat. First thing we did after our first van trip was fix the water pump. If you watched the trip video, you'll know that it packed up just before we left for the trip. So I fixed that. I have an in-depth video on the fix, so watch that if you're interested in how I fixed it. Another thing I've done to the van, ready for the trip, was add the roof racks and awning to the van. It was a big task where I needed 3 of my mates to help lift it on. But again, if you're interested in the process of that, or just want to have a laugh at 4 blokes struggling with a heavy awning and roof racks, then watch that video.
Tighten them up before you start shaking it.
The one other job we tackled before attempting to waterproof the shower room was touching up the kitchen. The old kitchen had some tatty old backsplash. Well, not really a backsplash, it had some lino type tiles stuck on with staples. It was a bit of a naff design and Megan was desperate to have it looking nicer than that. So she bought some white stick-on tiles off of Amazon and began to stick them to the back of the sink and the hob area. She did a really good job with it and it looked great. We also added a bit of roofing batten painted white just to make a border at the back of the worktop. We also used the same bit to create a small upright pole with hooks in to hang keys and other sorts of stuff. We used it to hang a sponge off of. I personally didn't mind the old shitty bits and wanted to get on with some more practical bits, but looking back I'm really glad we did it because it looks way better than it did. Alright, well, fuck this. Look, the nails aren't going in all the way. You've got little blemishes all the way down. It looks horrible, so we're not happy. We're not happy, bunnies. The tops worked a little bit better, but we're still going to have to hammer these ones in. So they're not quite in. The next bit was the last bit we did, and that was waterproofing the shower room ready for the trip. We literally started this on the Saturday morning, and we were leaving for the trip on the Sunday evening. So we didn't have a lot of time whatsoever, but we knew we were going away for a week, and with the campsites not having all the facilities open, we needed the shower in the van. So we started by making the hole for the drain to go through. I double and like triple, quadruple checked. I reckon I might have done.
Well, gone through so.
I thought I was going in there where the hump was, but it turns out it's there. And look, just got the edge of the chassis. Whether only the very edge, might be able to bodge it in. It's pretty bad, yeah. It's certainly not ideal. I don't really want to drill another hole. You might have to.
As you can see, we got the first hole in the wrong place, so we cut out another hole next to it and filled the first hole with some offcuts. We put some thin plywood at the base of the shower and around the hole as we noticed it was slightly uneven and would benefit from extra height, especially around the plug hole. We nailed them in and then hammered the nails in more as the nail gun we have is a bit old and naff. We then got onto the plug and the drainage. I started by gluing the waste pipe to the bottom part of the plug. The pipe was a little too wide for the plug, so I wrapped it with electric tape over and over to make it wider. It worked well as it made it just wide enough to squeeze the pipe round it very tightly. I whipped a bit of sealant on and it was ready. I then measured where the hole was on the shower tray and drilled the plug hole through the tray. Once I had the tray ready, I threaded the waste pipe through the hole underneath where the tray was going and set the plug in between the thin base plywood. After I added the trusty piece of cardboard to level it out, I started to put down the glue on the base of the shower room. I dropped the shower tray into the room and sat on it to try and get it all flat to the base and sides. I also added some sealant around the plug hole and screwed the top part onto the bottom part. Who's that, Mitch? Is that Dave?
It's your mum. Yeah. We're just putting in the bathtub? The shower thing. Yeah. We're just putting the plug hole in at the minute.
Okay. I need you to go off the bed.
Alright.
Alright. Night night.
Night.
When they leave this house.
Make sure it's in the lip.
As you heard, that was my mum telling us they were off to bed as the time was about 10:30, but we were desperate to get it all down before bed so that it would dry overnight. We managed to get it all in time and went off to bed. We woke up the next day, the day of the trip, and began to work on the van straight away. Before filming, I drilled a hole in the grey water tank and chopped the waste pipe to size. Once I had the right size, I shoved the pipe in the hole, and it was a perfect size as it was slightly too small, so I had to squeeze the pipe in, but it did feel nice and secure in the hole because of it. And I whipped on some of the same glue as it works well as a sealant as well, just to secure the pipe in the tank a little bit more. We then moved on to waterproofing the shower room. We used lino to waterproof the bathroom.
Right, here we go, chopped off our first bit of lino.
Now having our first cut, we took it into the van and started by tacking it up on the new wall we'd just put in and then chopping it to size and around all the little necessary bits. We sprayed the adhesive on the back of the lino and the wall. It's the same stuff we use for carpet lining the campers we sell. We then carried on and chopped up some for the wheel arch and the little corner, and then we also did the side wall. We knew we were running out of time and wouldn't finish, so we decided to focus on the corner so that we could have a shower in one corner of the room. I seem to have lost the clips from the rest of the build, but this story shows the quality of the sealing up. It was a rush job and it was a terrible job really, but we knew it would work, we knew it would keep the water out, and all we cared about was getting out in the van that night. So we left it how it was in a bad state and then had the intention of neatening up the sealant when we were out and about on the road. That never happened and it looks like that to this day. I would show you the shower room now, but after a winter of neglect, it is pretty disgusted in there and needs a good thorough clean. With the bathroom waterproof to a usable standard, we began to do the last few little bits. The first one was whacking a bit of black spray paint around the steel wheels to make them look a little nicer.
Make it look a little bit cleaner.
We got a couple of new bits for the van, including a memory foam mattress topper, a hookup lead in case we did go on site, and a new windscreen cover I found in a van. We packed them in the van as well as the other bits ready to leave for the trip.
There we go. Don't know how we fit everything in here, but we have the bike, front wheel, extra tank of water, step, mini barbecue, torch, drill, sealant, football, basketball, tennis rackets, jump cables, walking boots, of course windbreaker, and a shitload of bungee cords that you can't tell between the wires. Oh! And my pump.
We left a little later than we wanted. Stay tuned as I will have 3 van videos coming out from that trip.